So we keep on going in this 2014 NFL season, and Week 8 is just about upon us. And oh boy, unless you're a fan of a team that you know is not going to make the playoffs, like yours truly, but it's still the NFL. It's still great entertainment, that is for sure. And as far as my track record with my picks this year, it's starting to level out in a good way in that I'm becoming a little more consistent. In week number 7, I went 10-5. My record to date after 7 weeks is 66-40, which gives me about, I think, a 68.75 winning percentage. I'll take it. I'd like to get to 75%, meaning I pick 3 out of every 4 games right by the end of the year. That's the goal. That's what I'm shooting for. But even if I end up somewhere by the end of the year in the 65 to 70% range, I got to feel pretty good about that. I think that establishes at least a little bit of credibility. Doesn't make me the great, amazing Kreskin or Jimmy the Greek or anything, but it means that I'm a go-to guy to a certain degree for helping you with some of your picks in your weekly pools and what have you. So here we go. My picks for Week 8 for this 2014 NFL season. And let's go straight to the Thursday night matchup. And what a Thursday night matchup we have. AFC West divisional rivalry as the San Diego Chargers, led by Philip Rivers, go 2 Mile High to face Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. And on the surface, the Chargers are a very banged up team. They're coming off of a bad loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the best way I can put it. It was a bad loss. It was kind of one of those things that it was a trap game, and they definitely fell for the trap. Hook, line, and sinker. And then you've got the Denver Broncos, who have pieced together really a couple of nice victories coming off of their bye. That Cardinals blowout in week number 5, that was impressive. Their week 6 performance against the Jets, not so much. But then Sunday night, they just steamrolled all over the San Francisco 49ers. So heading into this matchup, it looks like the Broncos have a lot more momentum. That defense is playing very well. Peyton Manning is also playing very well. Soon the national media will continue to remind you every day that it's going to be an MVP level because it's fucking Peyton Manning. So a lot of indicators point to the Denver Broncos being able to win this game and being at home, perhaps winning this game handily. But I say not so fast. The San Diego Chargers, I think, match up pretty well against the Denver Broncos. And I think a guy, at least on a one-game basis, that can go toe-to-toe with a Peyton Manning is a guy like a Philip Rivers. And I look at this matchup, and I actually really like the San Diego Chargers here. I still think perhaps that maybe the Broncos will be the best team in the division by the end of the season. But as of this particular moment and this week, you just didn't want to pick Peyton Manning's team, whatever. I would believe whatever the hell you want, but I'll take the Chargers to win on Thursday night. What the hell? We've got the London game Sunday, and for some reason it's starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. That's going to piss off a lot of fantasy owners, especially those that have somebody like a Calvin Johnson, and they're trying to figure out, what's his fate going to be? Is he going to play or is he not? In terms of this matchup, you've got the Detroit Lions at one end of the spectrum at 5-2, a couple of wins in a row. You've got the Atlanta Falcons on the flip side of that, reeling at 2-5, looking like they're about ready to fall apart at the seams. Their offense hasn't been as good as they should be expected to be over the past couple of weeks with their quarterback and the weapons that they have, in part because their offensive line is terrible. And yes, Falcons fan, your running game still sucks, but your defense is still terrible. It has been terrible for years, and it still continues to be terrible. So this is one of these games that it's kind of like a smart-ass approach. There are so many reasons why, on paper, with the game being in London and the momentum that the Lions have right now, that Detroit should find a way to win this game, and perhaps convincingly. So that's why I'm picking the Atlanta Falcons to win. This just looks like that type of game that the fucking Detroit Lions would lose. I'm sorry, it does. Now we move on to the Sunday matchups, and I'm going to go first to my Bears and their 3-4 record traveling to Foxborough, yippee, to take on Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. Now on the surface, with the Patriots having won 3 games in a row and the Bears kind of reeling, you look at this and you would think this should be a 2-touchdown plus victory for Tom Brady, who has never lost to the Chicago Bears. But I say not so fast, because I look at this and the Patriots continue to get depleted by injuries, whether it's Stephen Ridley, Gerard Mayo. Now they lose Chandler Jones, their star defensive end, for upwards of a month. The matchup isn't that terrible for the Bears because in recent weeks they've been able to generate some pass rush. on opposing quarterbacks. You look at what Jeremiah Ratliff was able to do Sunday, and then you look at what Willie Young's done pretty much all year. And what's something that the New England Patriots offensive line struggles to do? That's pass protection. And you look at the Bears, they don't have to worry about a plethora of weapons from the New England Patriots in the passing game. The matchup's not as bad as it seems. But at the end of the day, I'm picking Tom Brady over Jay Cutler. And furthermore, the Bears look like they're this close to implosion, about this close. And, this would be the type of game with the up-down season the Bears are going to have all year long that they would come out and find a way to win on the road because that's the type of stupid crap they would do. But I'm not buying it. I'll pick the New England Patriots to win. Sorry. Another good matchup is going to be the Baltimore Ravens looking for revenge for their Week 1 loss to the Cincinnati Bengals, this time in Cincinnati. The Bengals have been reeling coming off of that Week 4 bye week. They've had 2 losses and a tie. Not the way you want to come off of an early season bye, whereas recently the Baltimore Ravens have put together a nice little run. They're playing some good football. They look like a quality threat, a balanced threat in that AFC. I think the Bengals at some point in time are too good of a team to completely fall apart, and I think at some point in time they're going to find a way to figure things out. This is a must-win for them. I don't think it's quite as much of a must-win for the Baltimore Ravens, so I'm going to pick the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to take the Texans over the Titans. I'm going to take the St. Louis Rams over the Kansas City Chiefs in the battle of the Show Me State. I think the Rams helped themselves out a lot on Sunday, saved their season for sure. And those are the type of victories over a quality opponent like the Seattle Seahawks that can launch a talented team like the St. Louis Rams to a different level and get them rolling on a nice streak. And that could very well happen. And I expect good things to continue for them on Sunday. I will take the New York Jets to beat the Buffalo Bills. Yep. Moving on. I will take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to beat the Minnesota Vikings. I will take the Seattle Seahawks to go on the road and beat the Carolina Panthers. I'll take Miami on the road to beat Jacksonville. But I will say this, I don't say that to totally discredit the Jaguars because over the past few weeks, they've played pretty well on the defensive end of the ball. Now, granted, they haven't played the greatest offenses in the world, but defensively, they held the Steelers to 9 points. They held the Titans to 16 points. And then they held the Browns with a high-powered offense, believe it or not, to 6 points last week. That Jaguars defense under Gus Bradley has been playing a lot better over the past month or so. This is a team that, still not very good, but they're starting to figure some things out, and they're starting to play a better brand of football. So this is not one of these games where the Dolphins can just roll into Jacksonville and think they can win by 3 touchdowns, even though they played very, very well in Soldier Field against the Bears in week number 7. The Dolphins need to be concerned here. They need to be worried because the Jaguars are starting to figure some things out. But I don't think they're good enough to beat the Dolphins. Another marquee matchup will be the Eagles at 5-1 traveling to Arizona to take on the 5-1 Arizona Cardinals. This is a good matchup. I'm looking forward to watching this game. I think the Eagles had a good bye week at a good time. And the Arizona Cardinals, even though they've had some injuries, are still playing a good brand of football. And man, this is a well-coached team. When you look at teams in the NFL that are extremely well-coached, right at the top of the list has to be the Arizona Cardinals with Bruce Arians. This is a team that does a lot of good things. They always seem to be prepared. They always seem to be focused. They play hard. They play well. They execute well. I just really have a lot of respect for Bruce Arians and the Arizona Cardinals, and I'm picking the Cardinals to beat the Eagles here in week number 8. I will take the Browns to beat the Raiders. I will take the Colts to beat the Steelers. I will take the Packers to beat the Saints on the road in the Superdome and Monday night matchup. I got to take the Cowboys over the Redskins. I'm sorry. It's just the way I look at it. So those are my picks for week number 8 in this 2014 NFL season. Actually, let me change something here. I apologize. I misread my list. Let me take the Eagles over the Cardinals in week number 8. So let me say that again. I'm picking Philadelphia to beat Arizona in week number 8. I don't know what the hell I was reading, but I read the wrong thing. So I was 10-5 last week, 66-40 for the year. I'd like to have 11-4 or 12-3 this week. So of course I'll probably end up with like 7-8. You're welcome again to pick against me. Let me know what you did last week. Let me know what you've done season to date. Let me know how you've done going toe-to-toe with me, the Schlick Daddy.